This is Levels of Geeks podcast, bringing you action movie reviews from across the decades, plus box office numbers and insight like never before. And now your host of Levels of Geeks podcast, Alex and Friends.
What's up, everyone? This is Nate, and this is my co-host,
Alex Figueroa.
And we are here for episode 12 of the Levels of Geeks podcast. This is where me and Alex, we talk about action movies with you, all kinds of action movies. And this week we got a very special, or this episode, I should say, we got a very special because it's our first Western that we're doing. So we've done Bond, we've done sci-fi action,
check.
We've done historical battle action, sword and sandal.
Check.
Now, Westerns. So yeah, we're going to be going over a 1990s classic, if you will, Tombstone. This is, of course, Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer. Oh, we'll go through the cast in a little bit, but a lot of people in this movie. We're going to go over Tombstone as voted by you. This is also the first one that you guys voted for us to review. So we put 4 Westerns up on a poll. Tombstone won. So we're going to go ahead and review it for you now. Of course, as always, if you are watching us on YouTube, please share, subscribe, like, comment. Give us your thoughts on Tombstone down below. Since you guys voted for it, let us know if you like it or if you don't like it or if you think it's overrated or underrated. On top of that, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a star rating, a comment. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, and we'll see what we can do to fix it. And if you're listening on Stitcher, please do the same. But of course, subscribe and listen. And thank you for all the people who have been listening. Now, let's give you the criteria as we always do. Of course, we are scoring these movies on a 5-category scale. So, lead character, main villain, action scenes, storyline, overall score for the movie, and then we tally it all up and give you a total for that movie. That's pretty much our criteria. So, if you want to leave us a comment with yours down below, please do. If not, just give us a total score. That's fine. Now, before we get into our review, of course, you already know, we're going to give you the box office total, and we're going to give you the Rotten Tomatoes score to give you an idea of how successful this movie was outside of me and Alex. So, Alex, what was the... we only have domestic for this one because, you know what? The internet did not want to share the international totals, so we got the domestic box office.
Yeah, it's very interesting when I looked up the box office for this number because they did not give you international. It's just straight domestic. So this movie only made $56 million in 93. Did not give me the budget, so I really don't know how much it cost to make this film. So we can compare to see if it's successful. $56 million, let's say it's less than because it's a Western. Could be a successful movie.
I mean, going by today's numbers, that's approximately, it's close to 100 million. Probably slightly under, maybe 90 something million. So depending on the budget would determine how successful it really was. This does have a lot of actors, but I don't know how much I don't know what the budget, it looks good. So I don't know what the budget was, but not an incredible box office haul though. And then as far as the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie, it sits at a 74%.
Wow.
So it is a certified fresh movie. Audience score though, 94% for Tombstone. And this is not surprising because I have one of my good friends. He's a diehard Tombstone fan. Loves it's like his favorite Western, one of his favorite movies, period. And I have a confession to make before we go into this review. And Alex, you're going to go first, but I'll still make my confession so everybody can think about it.
Go ahead.
When I'm sitting here watching this movie today, I realized I have never seen this movie.
No way.
I thought I have watched this before. I was like, oh yeah, I've seen Tombstone. And you know what it is? I think I've just heard about it and seen so many like clips and stuff that I assumed I have seen it when I was younger. I've never seen it. So this was a first time watch for me. So please, when I'm doing my review, take that information, do with it what you will. But yeah, this was the first time watch. So it was kind of cool.
Wow.
For me, yeah. So I'm going to let you take it away with the lead character.
Yeah, so lead character, look, in this movie, there was 4 or 5 lead characters in this movie. I mean, you got Val Kilmer, you got Bill Paxton's character, Morgan. I mean, you got the old guy, I always forget his name, but
Sam Elliott.
Yeah, he has that ill deep voice. He's another main character, but of course, the main story around this is Wild Earp, which is played by Kurt Russell. Look, Kurt Russell was an amazing character in this movie. I mean, look, they all were. They were all fantastic. If I had Oscars, I'd give it to all of them because they had chemistry. They all had the presence. They all looked badass in their suits and the fake mustaches and all that. But it's around Kurt Russell, so we got to judge the lead. So with that said, Kurt Russell was amazing as Wild Earp. I love the whole, they left their marshals, like their gunslinging behind them. They went to this town called Tombstone in Arizona to settle down, and I think they became gamblers, right? They were like in the casino. They were doing.
They got into the casino business.
Gambling,
Yeah, they just
right?
wanted to become rich and retire essentially.
Yeah, so they had like a little casino in a saloon. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. Then of course tragedy struck, and I'm not gonna talk about it because that's towards more the old storyline. Yep. But when tragedy struck, this is when the lead character became in the movie, and you were locked in there with him, and you were like, oh, hell to the mother effing yes. He's going to bring down hell with him once this tragedy happened. So with that said, I'm not going to keep harping on it. I gave Kurt Russell a 5 out of 5 out the gate because he was an amazing lead character in Tombstone in 93.
And by the way, fun fact, Kurt Russell, his mustache was real. He grew that thing.
No way.
It was real. And you can kind of tell now, if you look at him now, like he always has the beard, but he grows, I think he just grows facial hair really good, but it was real. So that's kind of neat. All right, now, real quick, let's just, before I even get into the lead character, I just got to run down this cast really quick. Because like I said, now that I realized I hadn't seen it, I'm looking at all these faces. I'm like, I know all these guys. So we got Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton. Okay, we got a young Billy Zane. We got a young and chubby Billy Bob Thornton. We got Thomas Hayden Church, Powers Booth, Michael Biehn, Michael Rooker, Stephen Lang. I mean, the fact that Terry O'Quinn, the fact that I can name 11
12
like actors, 12 right off the bat. That's a cast right there, you know? And obviously some of them are more famous than others, and some of them are leading and some of them are supporting, but they're all really good Billy Zane, maybe not a really good actor, but he's famous. But everyone else is great. Billy Bob Thornton, you know, future Oscar nominee. Michael Rooker is a great actor, character actor. And how many movies and the other thing I noticed is how many movies have Bill Paxton and Michael Biehn in together? I mean, Terminator 1, Aliens, Tombstone. So I don't know why they didn't just make every movie together.
Buddy cop movies.
Yeah, what the heck? All that to say, Kurt Russell. So I love Kurt Russell. In general, I like him as a actor, as a leading man, action movies, comedy. I think he's funny. I think he can do it all. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Kurt Russell. So I'm perfectly fine when this movie starts off and I'm seeing my man Kurt. It's cool. He's good. Got the mustache. He's great. But there's a moment where he goes, for me, from a 4 as a lead to a 5. And it's at that train station. And it's when he blasts that dude, and then he tells Stephen Lang's characters on the floor, and he shows him the badge. And I'm like, oh shoot! I've never been more hyped for like a freaking cop. You know, like he reveals he's the law in town now. That whole scene, I almost recorded it and put it up on Instagram because I was like, this is like, it was awesome. I literally got like mad hype.
Yeah,
so he went from a 4 to a 5 because before that he was. Not that he was timid, but you knew it was more underplayed. You know, he's like, no, I'm retired. I'm trying to chill. Except the part where he slapped Billy Bob Thornton in the mouth a bunch of times, which was hilarious. He didn't show it, but right then he's pissed off. I love but you already know, I love a good pissed off character.
I know you do.
Kurt Russell, my man, 5 out of 5. I totally agree with you. He was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that scene is awesome too, and that's when all his boys come out. Doc Holliday, and they all have the U.S. but except Doc. Doc did not have the U.S. Marshal badge, but he was part of his best friend.
Yeah, and they got the other guys who quit the gang because they went to shoot the women. So Michael Rooker and then the other actors. Yeah, so that was awesome. I love that scene. Yeah. All right, villain. So here's where I'm gonna be honest. I actually really liked the bad guys as a unit, but as a lead villain, me and Alex talked, and Powers Booth is the actor. His character, he wears red the whole movie. He has a mustache, a little twirly mustache, and he laughs the whole time. Like, for me, okay. I'm just gonna give my score and then I'll explain. It's a 2. I'm gonna give him a 2.
Really?
But that is only because I don't think they established him as a strong leading villain. However, as a part of this gang, and the whole gang is bad, if we were scoring them all like as a unit, it'd be like a 4 or 5. I'm being honest. Like, I love Michael Bihn's character. I actually liked him better. I thought he was cooler. I like Stephen Lang, how he's always tough, but then as soon as something happens, he becomes a coward pretty much and just like begging. But I like that about him. You know, that's such a heel. Like, I think in terms of like wrestling or whatever, it's such a heel move, you know, like be all tough. And as soon as someone gets in your face, no, man, you know, like don't do it. And then
don't do that to me, Walter. Don't do that to me, Walter. You go tell them all. I'm coming and hell coming with you. And I was like, yeah.
And then they hit him with a low blow, you know, type of thing. Like he'll go inside the building and start shooting from there where, you know, he's a coward. So I liked him. So I like the gang, but we have to score this on a main one villain. I don't think Powers Booth was great. I don't even remember his name. He's not memorable in that. And I just watched it and I don't remember his name. And he's too cartoony. He's always laughing for some reason. He's always like, like the whole movie, he's laughing no matter what happens. So a 2, but please just know as a unit, I like the villains in general. Like I like the Cowboys, they're called. That's the name of the gang. I like the Cowboys, but they didn't have a strong leader. Plus he dies with 35 minutes left in the movie. He doesn't even make it to the end of the movie. He's not even the final boss. Michael Bihn's character ends up being the final boss. So a 2 for me, but take that with a grain of salt. Cause I like the gang. I don't think they did a good job with a lead villain.
Well, I mean, look, I'm very 360 from your 2. Okay. For me, I liked William. That was his character. His name was William. To me, he was a menacing main villain. That's why he had to laugh, because he could laugh, because he had a group behind him. You can't say nothing to him because they will shoot you there. So like he played the asshole very well. Like that's what he was, especially when they killed one of the brothers and they're walking, and that's when Michael Bihn's like, "Do you smell that?" And he's laughing and he's just like, "Oh, this is not the right time, man." Like, you know what I mean? Like
that was his best line was when Kurt Russell's leaving the town and he's just like, bye. Like,
that's
whatever.
it.
I like that moment, but that's the only moment where he wasn't laughing. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Well, no, he did laugh when Ringo, which was Michael Biehn, Ringo said his line. He goes, "Do you smell that?" And then he did laugh, but then he was just like, bye.
He just, you know what it is too? He's too, I'm not into the mustache twirly villains, and he's that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like the bad guy from Dudley Do-Right. He's just like, I'm not a huge fan of. That's why I like Michael Biehn better. He seems scarier.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, I get you. Yeah, he was he's more deadlier gunslinger, Ringo.
Yeah, he was awesome.
But yeah, look, I mean, with that said, I give him a 4.
Okay.
I thought because with the gang behind him, he played the asshole very well, and no one messed with him, and that's what you want in a lead in the lead villain. And this dude tried to go straight one-on-one with Kurt Russell while they're having a gunfight across a river. That's why he lost.
That's why it's even worse. He misses him every time. He can't even hit him. He's walking right towards him out in the open, and he didn't shoot him one time.
That's the thing. Like, I guess that's the whole legend.
Yeah, I know.
That's the whole thing.
It hurts him as a villain when I'm scoring it. It's like, this guy got bad aim.
No, I don't think it's bad aim. I think that point in the movie was more of a legend story told. Because remember when Doc was telling the story, and he was like, "Wow, Earp," and he crossed the river and all this crap. And
it's a moment that strengthens Kurt Russell, his epicness, but it so lowers the other guy as a villain, where he's just like, he can't even hit the dude when he's out in the open doing nothing. Why would I ever believe he has a chance if he can't kill the dude when he's giving himself up? I think that was more. I think that was purposefully done. It was
because I think, like I said, I think that was more of a legend being told down the line. Like, I bet he could hit anybody from that close, but
apparently not.
That's right. But I think that scene right there was more of a legend. People telling the story over and over how he walked through everyone shooting him and no one could shoot the guy. Because those guys are all marksmen. There's no way that they can't hit a guy across the river. But I think because it was a legendary moment, I think that was like the whole. I mean, come on. There's no way a whole gang cannot hit this dude with 6
I hear you.
shots.
But I just got to go off of what I saw on screen. And this man missed 50 times with Kurt Russell walking right at him. And all he did was laugh while they were shooting. Again, he's hiding in the bushes, just laughing. I like him as an actor.
No. I got it. I mean, I gave him a 4. You gave him a 2.
That's fair. Yeah.
But all right, action scenes.
That's you.
That's me. Look, this movie had action scenes. You got it. I mean, towards once the guy put the damn patch on his chest. I mean, well, before that, when Morgan, well, now, I mean, we could start setting it up. But when Morgan gets killed, you got to see that's where it starts to develop the hate. And that's when they had that shootout in the street before they became marshals and everything. They had the straight shootout. Between once Doc Holliday, everyone backed up. Once he came out, it was over. But you got that big fight scene. Then of course, when they set up the whole him having the badge and the law behind him this time, because he was a lawman, he just left it behind at another town. He came here to just make a new living, but he lost his brother, and it was over. That switch turned right back to what he knows how to do, and that's kill people. And you got it. I love all the silhouettes of them galloping from like one after the other. You see them shooting everywhere. Like one is banging a chick and they come in and they shoot him dead. Then they're like riding into the sunset. They killing them. The guy is running in a horse. They hit him with the back of a gun.
Yeah, the death montage.
Yeah, the death montage. Yeah, like I thought that was all amazing. I thought that was really good. Even the fight in the river, that was pretty cool. And then like there was more fights throughout. I loved it, even with Doc Holliday going one-on-one with Michael Biehn, Ringo. I thought that was really well done because we all knew Kurt Russell's character, Wild Earp, was not going to survive if he would have went one-on-one against Ringo. He was a true gunslinger, and the only one that could do it was Doc Holliday, and he helped his boy out, even with was it tuberculosis? He was dying.
He had tuberculosis.
Yeah, so he had that, and he still killed my man like nothing. He was like, "Come on." Well, anyway,
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, I'm your Huckleberry. Now, with that said, I gave the action a 5 out of a 5 in this movie.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not as high on the action, but I did like it. Well, so here's where this is gonna be a moment for me because I've always known this, but like watching, so I don't watch a lot of Westerns. It's not my genre. However, it's a genre I've been like, the older I get, the more I get into them, the Western genre. So I didn't grow up watching them at all. I always thought they were boring when I was younger, but now that I'm grown, I appreciate them more. But one thing that kind of holds true for me is I'm not a huge fan, and I kind of mentioned this a little bit when we talked about one of the Bond movies, but I'm not super into Western action, Western style action, because all it is gun. It's just people shooting guns at each other. So, and I mentioned it there, like gun action has to be presented in a way that's different for me, and Westerns are not. They're usually not super creative with their choreography of gun action. And that's just my opinion. Literally, they have the shootout. Everything is like some guy standing over there and some guy standing over here, and they just start shooting at each other. That's all it is. And there's plenty of action in this movie, so don't get me wrong. Like Alex said, all those moments are cool. They're shot fairly well, like there's nothing super creative about them. There's no like inventive camera angles or like anything like that. It's just guys shooting at each other. With that, I gave it a 3.5. But again, that's more of like a personal thing of like, I'm trying to think of other movies. Cause like something like John Wick, there's a lot of shooting in John Wick, but look at how it's super creative. This man's like, he'll roll on the floor and it looks like he's going to punch you and he shoots you. That's a different way to shoot somebody than just two guys standing like, dueling. I'm not a big fan of like dueling but that's just a personal preference. So 3.5, there's plenty of action in it. I do like it. There are Westerns that I think do more creative stuff. And I feel like the more modern they get, the more creative they get with their action choreography. This was still in a time where it was pretty much point that gun, shoot that gun. With that being said, it's all very thrilling and exciting, and you want the character, you want the good guys to win, and you want the bad guys to die, so it's effective. So 3.5. It was good, but I never rose out of my seat and was like, what an incredible action scene. You know what I mean? So yeah, 3.5.
Very interesting. Like I said, I enjoy those type of Westerns.
Yeah.
The shoot 'em up. But again,
I like them. Yeah, I want my actions to have, my Westerns to have shooting, but I just it needs to look cooler than it does in this to me. For me.
No,
yeah.
I got it. No, I totally get it. You like the style. All right, so let's get to storyline.
Storyline. All right, now here's a very good strength of the movie. The storyline is very good. It's not perfect because there's quite a bit of fat on this movie. Like, they definitely could have trimmed some of the fat off of this movie. And there's a lot of plot points and loose ends that never really, they don't care. They never revisit them or anything like that. Which, the movie shouldn't be 2 hours and 10 minutes and then still also have these kind of plot points that you didn't really resolve. Just make it if this was an hour and 45, honestly, it would have been a 5 out of 5 for me, because then I think they would have trimmed out some of that stuff. With that being said, very good storyline, very entertaining. I'm rooting for the good guys when I'm supposed to root for the good guys. I'm wanting the bad guys to die, except Michael Biehn. I wanted him to be there till the end because I liked him. But yeah, 4 out of 5 for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought the storyline was good. Just a little bit too much fat. Too much fat on the on the meat here. They say too much meat on the bone. I don't never. There's not too much meat. There's too much fat. Like a lot of the stuff, and I'll give an example. A lot of the stuff with Kurt Russell and the girl, I really could have done without. Just being honest, it did not add anything. His crackhead wife, who's addicted to Robitussin and opium and all this stuff. Yeah. Get out of here with that. Yeah, she's just drinking Robitussin and then she hides it when he comes in. I could have really done without a lot of that stuff. It didn't add anything for me. So I was just cut this out. And then this is just a leaner, cooler movie. So 4, almost a 5.
I enjoyed the story. I thought it was a very well put together story. Yep. I love how the dynamics of the 4 brothers plus their best friend, best friend Doc Holliday. Yep. I love that chemistry. I did like the tension between the wife and the Robitussin with the actress chick. I thought that was a pretty cool dynamic between the 3, because Kurt Russell, you could tell he was in love with her, but he had a wife. It's not like he could leave her, But it looked like she was dying anyway, because she just looked pale.
She died. She ended up overdosing on. They said at the end she ends up overdosing.
Yeah. So I like all that. Then I like the whole. On the other hand, I do like the whole gang and the fighting and even them having a beer and the whole time when Morgan died, they threw him on top of the pool table and then taking the thing out, and you hear the dog going, "Oh!" He's like, "Can you get that damn dog out of here?" Yeah. And he's like, "What?" in the rain. I thought the whole thing was. I thought the script was really good. I'm not gonna say it's a perfect Western script. I thought it was a very well put together script where it told you what it needed to be told. It got your action, it got the drama, it got the suspense, and then of course you got that badass scene right towards the ending, and then of course the Doc Holliday scene when he dies. Also, when he's like, "If you're really my friend, you just leave me here to die. You never look back." And I was
sure does.
And he did. He was like, "Peace."
Whatever happened to his chick? That's what I'm saying. She just disappeared out of nowhere.
She might have died, or she was she was just using him for the money and the glory. But
I know, but I'm just saying, where'd she go?
Yeah, but with that said, I gave this a 5 for storyline. Okay. That was my I like the storyline a lot. So nice. Overall for me, this is one of my top 3 Westerns. Right now, 3:10 to Yuma, because I just watched that, and we'll talk about that in February. Yeah. That's now there too. It's top 5. But Tombstone will always be in my top 3 of Western movies. So with that said, overall, I thought this was a 5 out of a 5. It gave me, like, I love Western movies, and I think it gave me exactly what I love when I watched like the Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, like the Pale Rider, or you have the Unforgiven, you have, of course, the Good, the Bad, the Ugly, the Few Dollars More, the Few Dollars Less. You have those. Like, I like those type of movies. Like, I love them. Even if they slow and boring, I just love Western movies, suspense, like all that. And this gives me that 93 feel of filmmaking. So I give this a 5 out of a 5.
Nice. Okay, so I am as I said before, not a Western aficionado. So I never claimed to be, but I am a huge 90s movie fan, and this definitely feels very 90s movie to me, that's always okay in my book. Love the cast, amazing cast. Love watching all these actors act. They're fantastic. I especially love Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer. And we didn't really talk about him as Doc Holliday. He's amazing in this movie. Sure, he's playing it a little extravagant. I won't lie. His accent is a little extra. You know what I mean? But it's okay. He's terrific in this movie. Val Kilmer's great. Bill Paxton's one of his better roles. And Sam Elliott, like you said, with the voice, he's always just old, deep voice guy. And he's always good. He's always believable. He looks like he was born in the Old West, as does Kurt Russell to me. Like, Kurt Russell looks like the Old West to me. So great casting. Really good story. Definitely some cheese, especially at the end. I really didn't like the ending. Like when he goes to dance with the girl and then the dumb voiceover is like, his funeral was attended by many actors. They cried. That's literally the last line. He's like, he cried. Oh, okay. I don't care. It was kind of weird, a little cheesy, but what is a 90s movie without a little bit of cheese? I'm here for it for the most part. Now, I will say, now that I've watched this in its entirety, the way people talk about it, I think it's slightly overrated as a film. Not with the Rotten Tomatoes, not with the box office, nothing like that. But the way people talk about it and what I watched, for me, doesn't quite line up, although I did really enjoy it, like, quite a bit. I'm going to give it a 4 overall. So, that would be an 8 out of 10 if reviewing it on a 10 scale. It's a very good movie, but I don't think I'm probably more in line with like that Rotten Tomatoes score of 74 more than the audience of 96. I think it's good, not super amazing. As far as my like favorite Westerns, like where you ranked it, I mean, I'd probably put it up there. Again, I've only seen a handful, but it's better than like some of the other ones I've watched, to be honest. It's very entertaining. I'll give it that. So I always love a good entertaining movie. And I don't mind the talking. Like we've kind of found out through doing this podcast, I'm all for a great story and I like the story. I'm for the talking. I'm a fan of it. I just don't like when they talk about stuff that's unimportant, which this movie tends to do a bit, and they could have cut some stuff out. So 4 out of 5. Very good movie. So that's the total. So bringing us to our totals, for me, that is a 5, a 2, a 3.5, a 4, and a 4. That's an 18.5 out of 25. I think it's very good. I enjoyed it. And I would definitely it's definitely a movie I could watch again. It's one of those movies that has a good replay value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's very entertaining. You could watch this probably 20 times. You won't really get sick of it necessarily. But it won't move you either way. Yeah. In my opinion, it's not like, oh my gosh, I just watched such an amazing film. It's more like, that was a really good, entertaining Western full of actors I like. And that train scene with Kurt Russell's worth it. It's worth watching the whole movie for just that moment. It was so good. So 18.5 out of 25.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a 5.4, 5.55. It's a 24 out of a 25.
Nice.
I really enjoy this, and I still think it's a really good Western movie. Yeah. I saw this when it came out, not in the theater, but I saw this when it dropped in 93. So maybe for me, because I seen it when it first came out, now you're seeing it for the first time in the 2020. Yeah. Maybe there's a reason why, maybe you think it's overrated. But I still think it doesn't change it still is an amazing flick. Now is it like the James Mangold 310 to Yuma style?
No, I think that's a better movie. And we haven't gotten to it yet, but
it's a two different style of movie. Like
absolutely. Yeah, they're not from what I remember, they're not necessarily similar. This is way more Hollywood than that movie. This is a Hollywood Western. Yeah. And that one's a little more gritty. So maybe I just like a little more grit with my Western. It could be that. I don't know. I'm still kind of figuring out what I like when it comes to Westerns. Yeah. But this is more the glossy Hollywood Western than that movie is.
Yeah. No, that was more true to, you want to say more true to life with a rancher and taking the, villain to the X, Y, and Z. This one, you're right. It's way more Hollywood, but I don't know. I like it. I thought it was a very well put together Westerns. Like I said, it's better than most of the other Westerns that you see out there. And
keep in mind too, my score was affected by my low villain score because I only gave that a 2. If he was more defined and maybe had a little bit and wasn't so cartoony, probably would have been higher. That brought down my total score, but I really liked everything else.
Yeah, look, but yeah, well, with that said, 24 out of a 25. Nice. You hit an 18.5 out of a 25. But go ahead, close out the show, Nate.
So that is our take on Tombstone. Again, comment below. Let us know who you agree with or disagree with, or maybe you hate this movie. I haven't met anyone who's hated it yet, but maybe you do. I don't know. But we both enjoyed it. It was fun. Like Alex said, just a little preview. We're going to be doing a Western month in February where we're going to go through the different decades. We're going to pick one because there's only 4 weeks in February. Yeah. We're going to pick one from, I think it was 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, something like that. And we're going to do one Western from each decade. We'll review it. And then in January, just so you guys get another preview, we're going to be doing, for the non-series movies, we're going to be trying to find like bad action movies because January is typically known as a dump month in the theater. It's where they put out all their crap. So we're going to comb through it and see if what we'll do is we'll probably look up some like low Rotten Tomato score action movies and watch them and then tell you if they're really that bad. Maybe they're not. Maybe they are. We don't know. And then, of course, for December, as Alex said, we're going to be looking at some Christmas stuff. So just a preview of what's to come. And, of course, we're going to be doing Terminator, and we're going to be doing the ranking of the Terminator movies. And then we're going to do another series. After that, we'll see which one it'll be. But as always, please subscribe, like, share, comment. We always appreciate it. And as always, thank you for listening. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. Be awesome to each other. And geek out.